Our next artist stepping up is coming from the poetry world as well. He's also an actor, creative thinker, and a student of life. Please put your hands together for Mr. Reed.
Yo, how we doing? I'm Mr. Reed. Yeah, I've got a couple poems for you. This one, I wrote this one out like I went through like some spiritual growth, and the Hidden Science Academy was definitely a big part of that. You know, I've suffered with depression, and I still battle with it. And before I came across the Hidden Science Academy, I did not know how to fight my depression back. You know what I'm saying? I was backed into a corner and I didn't know how to swing back. And I learned how to align myself more spiritually here because I was ignorant. Do you get what I'm saying? Putting lots of death in my body and then wondering why I'm depressed and stuff like that. So I just want to give a big up to the Hidden Science Academy because they've really done a lot for me. They'll never know how much. Anyway, someone asked me one time why I'm not like so interested in politics, and I said because whoever is in charge, it will never be on the agenda to help us. And I kind of wrote this poem, kind of inspired by that. I had to grab the pen and start writing my own story. Because if I let the odds write it for me, then I guess I'm just another young black boy living poorly. And surely, if my self-esteem wasn't already crushed by life's drama, it was never boosted by the teacher with the bold marker, who didn't invest in the darker and wishes she could tell me, you black boy, work harder. Who only told me that my ancestors' legacy was suffering from racial supremacy till a wise man said to me, know thyself. Only then can one grow thyself, whilst he's focused on shape-ups and fake butts, work on the interior. Ever since I started to learn about my people's history, I've never felt inferior. I was misled for a reason, but like our history, the motive's ulterior. They don't empower young black boys for a reason, right? Or tell school kids that Africans taught Europeans how to read and write and ruled Europe before the freedom fight. Since I was blessed with the words to heat this mic, to speak's my right, I say this line with solemn. Knife crime is not a black problem. But this fake narrative spreads like pollen, whilst non-black people stab each other in Scotland, but they focus on us, so it's forgotten. Somebody said Black Lives Matter. All of a sudden it's firing back time, but they love to hear about black on black crime, that's fine. I was self-hating till I found the answers. Learned what melanin truly is, and I fell in love with darkness. And to our future mothers and fathers, your child's mind the garden, you're the gardener. Every word you speak to that child is a seed that you're planting. You're forming their perception of their dark skin. Will they be proud like Martin or hide like Larden? Just don't pass down your trauma, that's all I'm asking. Because they don't deserve it. Children copy behavior and learn it. Show them bad things, they might yearn it. You gotta break them generational curses so you can look back and say it was worth it. Who do you worship? Who's really a successful icon? Because it's like as long as they made $1 million and went platinum on 5 songs, then people don't care what they stand for. Just look at the role models, you will understand more. I'm passionate because I grew up where there's gang wars, so I just grab the pen and start writing my own story. This is a rise from the mud to the glory. My childhood wasn't no Balamori. There's pain around these sides. Time to make your mental health decline. But I stand firm because I keep getting these signs that I was born to be a leader. I can't let them destroy the youth because they take the baton when our soul leaves us. We need healers, revolutionary teachers, people of practice and less of the preachers. We've been academic achievers with divine features. Your melanin is limitless. Know the power you hold with it. Know your influence and grow with it. The world is your home with it. Thank you very much. I've got one more for you. I love to do this poem when I see a certain type of crowd, you know. I just have to talk about what I believe to be the most divine creation there is, and that is the black woman. So yeah, this poem is actually a 2-piece. Me and my boy usually do it, but he's not here right now, so I'll just do my part. It goes like this. The black woman. I know that often you're under attack, woman, and you don't hear this enough when it gets tough, but I got your back, woman. They talk about how you act, woman. They sound oppressive when they label you aggressive. Your resilience is impressive. They need to use stereotypes as leverage because they envy. Looking 30 at 50, you got me in a frenzy, the black woman. I want to take them weights off your back, woman. You define pressure, show my Henry, yet I lax, woman. If I'm the bike frame, then you're the bike chain, because without you, I'm not pedaling. Your energy reflects the power of your melanin. Your touch makes me hot like the weather in Medellin. In every sense, you're my go-to. I don't need no boot. Black woman, you're my soul food. You're unstoppable on your own and as a collective. But this hate that we've been taught has been effective. It almost worked on me till I changed my perspective. See, colorism infected our minds. They taught us to associate negativity with dark things, but nothing could ever make me fall out of love with your dark skin, because it was a dark woman that created us dark kings. Authentic black woman. You don't need to edit yourself like Wikipedia. I promise I won't believe them lies they tell about you in the media, because my mind don't take up lies like a tissue. They try and portray black women like an issue, because they know your true power, and that's the issue. Young black girl, how do you feel when you look at your reflection? I'm looking at some melanin perfection. When you open your mouth, they be calling it aggression. Brother, don't try to oppress them. Maybe she's mad because she doesn't have a choice. Living in a world where she doesn't have a voice. So young black boys, see the vision. When a female speaks, just listen. Give her that attention. Give her loving and affection. You gotta give her that protection and work as a team. Because in this world, man, it seems that they see a nigga, but I see a queen that's made to be heard and made to be seen. See that black girl, magic, man, it's all in the genes. Black boy, don't insult her. You came from the womb, now you're coming with the views that oppose her. But when we got shot down in the streets or killed by police, they're the first to be marching the streets. Black woman, you was made for a crown. Living in a world when they want to put you down, so I'ma go hard for the team that won to my young black queens. Thank you very much.
You said something very poignant, like you putting death in your body and you was feeling that way. What was like the first steps you took to just cutting those things out or making those changes and start fighting back?
Well, like I was saying, it was just gaining knowledge, because I just realized that a lot of problems are not solved because what we think we know about that topic, we don't really know anything. And you know, growing up over here, unless you're in contact with people like this, you're probably going to think that the NHS has your best interests at heart. Do you get what I'm saying? So when I was depressed, I didn't know that I was adding to it myself. And when I said putting death in my body, I mean, you know, like Charlotte, yeah, I see me, I still, you know, the meat now and again, do you get what I'm saying? But it's like, that's what I meant. I'm putting death in my body all the time, and then wondering why I'm so depressed, because when I come here and I started learning about how to align yourself spiritually, and I've done the holistic health course, I noticed obviously as soon as I started eating cleaner, I felt better. And then it's really, you get what I'm saying, it's actually that simple. So something that simple has such a big effect, you get what I'm saying? So the steps I started making was, obviously you know that you can't just be doing one thing to have that full spiritual growth. So obviously I was eating at the same time, I was trying to do my reading here and there. I was coming to a holistic health class, getting taught by Leon. I was going to spoken word nights and being inspired by other poets, and I just done a 360 in terms of my mental health and in terms of everything else, like my identity. And the reason I even done that Black Woman poem is because even in terms of that, I used to be one of them guys that used to worship every other woman but the black woman, do you get what I'm saying? And I had to go through spiritual growth to realize what I'd been missing out on all this time. And it was like, when I learned, it was like literally like, I woke up one day and I think I just stepped outside and I looked at a black woman and I thought, wow, is this what I've been missing out on all this time? You know what I'm saying? And my boy Nate, the lyricist, knows, because whenever me and him are somewhere and there's a lot of black women, we're just like, yeah man, but yeah, big up, that's me, thank you. Thank you very much.
This person responded to the challenge of exploring mental and emotional health, and has written a piece inspired by that. He is a teacher, so when he's not doing his artistry, he's educating and informing the next generation, a primary school teacher. Please make him feel welcome on this stage today. His name is Clay, the poet.
How's everyone doing? Yeah. You good? You can hear me at the back?
Yeah. Use the mic, please, bro. For the recording, use the mic, please.
Alright. When Fusion went into that, it actually brought tears to my eyes because the people that I brought with me here today are my brothers. I was fortunate enough for them to be the first generation of children that grew up in England through my family. So my family, my mum and dad came to England, left my 3 elder siblings in Uganda, and then brought my 2 second oldest after me and then me to England. And when I saw what they went through, going through the education system, growing up in London, I was fortunate enough to have a group of friends that didn't lead down that track. And I was fortunate enough to see what they went through to make the right decisions. So that's why I had them with me here today, and they actually brought a tear to me, Fusion, so thanks for that. So this poem is called Crooked Records on a Sunny Day. I specifically wrote it for this event. It was inspired about my brothers and about mental health and dealing with your issues growing up as a black man or a black boy in England. So hopefully I can do it justice for them, and hopefully I can do it justice for you. Here we go. Have you ever thought of a word for so long it begins to lose its meaning? Said it so many times makes it sound funny. Crooked. The way I walk is crooked. The way I talk is crooked. I don't pronounce my T's crooked, so how can I be crooked? Pass the water, baptize me when the morning star rises. We always made the best of friends. He always saw the light to me. God must stop looking a long time ago. He must not like crooks, then why? Then why did he put one next to Jesus? Like, how do you tell a positive story about sadness? About how the color of my skin dictates what a man is. How I can tell you all the pain in this world is driving me to the edge. Yet you only see me as weak. You only see my madness. I'm still part of the mandem. Tell me to man up again. I'm gonna put a man down. I ain't crazy, yo. I just need someone who listens before I do some mad-ish, but I can't speak about my pain like I lost my tongue the same way I lost my language. And even if I did, what box would you put me in before you try to understand it? I tried to open up my G's, but all they ever taught was how to hate a home. Like, how do you hate a home you have to live in until your last breath, dissecting in between my insecurities, the subtle ways they denied my existence? I'd rather stay at home, my G. Does God even live here, my G? If he did, please let him out on the road one day, just so he can see depression has a beginning and an end. Please don't let my beginning be my end. See me in the playground. I'm not that angry child. Hold my hand sometimes. Understand, a fist is the easiest handshake to give in the shadows. What's it like to be a black hole? What's it like for light to never escape you, but never be able to hold it either? I guess the best apologies are given to dead men. But we don't talk about that around this house. Nah, black holes keep the dark in too well, only until aunties come round. And my success is measured with a meter stick. Beat the devil out of me, cause it must be the devil, right? Cause black folks don't suffer from depression, right? Well, maybe just enough to see who's in the casket. At least that's what my silence says. Even my mental health has to have manners. Don't speak unless spoken to. And it was always so much easier to never speak at all, but it's okay, I guess. Or is it? Yo, my G, What's up, my G? Go on, my G. Let your smiles rain, my G. Let your pain be the manifestation to heal others, my G. At least our brothers now know even ghosts on the road cry sometimes. To be a man means you cry sometimes. Because your tears can be the waters to help these young G's flourish. And watch who you speak your pain to. How competent are they to hear our story? I once knew an OG with a doctorate healing broken boys. He healed enough of them just for the blocks to be warm enough not to wear our hoods on hungry nights. I knew mothers who lost their sons along the way. These waters ran too deep, but she still held her faith in God. God will forgive us when we get there. Please, God, forgive us when we get there, because no amount of statistics can water down our story. We don't need to learn to speak louder. We just need to learn to speak to each other. Alright, that's me. Peace.
Once again, show some love to Clay. This is us, right? We deal with facts, but we deal with emotions. And it's important that art has its place. We appreciate you, and all the artists will be stepping up. Those are their social media details, but they're here in the physical. Talk to them, yeah? Connect with them, bring them into your practice, and just support their art form, please. Okay, we have more goodness for you. The next one stepping up is one of our goddesses, one of our sisters, yeah? She's not a cancer survivor, she's a cancer thriver. Because overcoming tribulation makes you better, and she's now a lifestyle advisor and a self-published author. Please put your hands together for Charlotte Crowl.
Hi everyone, can you hear me at the back? Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, so I'm just going to share with you my journey and how I went through mental and emotional health through that journey. It all started when I was 17 years old. I was living out my best life, socializing, going to college, studying music production, and raving underage. Then I found a lump under my arm. So I went to the doctors, and he just said that my arm was right, so I went away. Then a few months later, I found little nodules on my neck. So I went back to the doctors. And when I went back, he was quite worried and he sent me for a biopsy. This was nearly 12 years ago. And when he sent me for the biopsy, I went in for my results. And I knew something was up when they sent a nurse in the room. So I went in the room. And they said, "I'm sorry to tell you, you've got stage 3 lymphoblastic lymphoma." And I was like, "What?" And then, "What's that?" And then it was like the type of cancer of the lymph nodes. So basically it's like the lymphatic system that gets rid of the toxins that are cancer of that system. And when he said that to me, I'm 17, so the first thing was like, what, am I going to lose my hair? Because that's what I knew about cancer. And then they were like, yeah, you might. I was like, okay. So I remember I left the room, I was with my mum, and I cried for a minute, but I hadn't really processed what I'd gone through. I was like, alright mum, just drop me to college, I'm cool. She's like, you sure? I was like, yeah. So I remember I went about my days normal, and it was literally within about 8 hours, my mum said, oh, they want you to come in and to the hospital. I was like, okay. So I was admitted to a teenage cancer ward up in London. And I got into the hospital and it was nice. It looked more like a hotel because you had your own private room, big TV, internet, like bathroom. I was like, okay, it's gonna be a breeze. My mum was like, don't you stay? I was like, no mum, I've got this. So she went, and I remember it was near Christmas, and I spent my Christmas in the hospital. Then they started me on a heavy dose of steroids. And it was all going smoothly. But then I got a psychosis, and it was like another identity took over, and I was trapped in my body. And I was a very bubbly person, so all the happiness, the bubbliness, all that become locked inside in this other identity that I named Sharona. She basically took over, and she was angry and sad. And have you seen the movie Get Out? So I felt like I was in a sunken place watching her kind of like rule my life. So I remember I kept trying to explain it to my family. I just couldn't get the words out right. And then one day, I was at my home and I thought it was going to be the day that I basically left this place. And I had a poor attempt of kind of like suicide because I don't know why, but I read somewhere if you eat tissue, it's not good for you and it can kill you. So I ate some tissue and I went and laid on my bed and I was like, okay, it's happening. And I had this out-of-body experience where I remember I visualized like what my funeral would be like and how sad my family and friends were. And then I snapped back and I was like, no, this can't happen. So I run to my mom and I was like, Mom, like, I'm eating tissue. Like, I'm scared, I don't know what's gonna happen. She's like, yeah, you're just gonna go to the toilet and it's gonna come out. So then, and I know, I was like, I'm worried, like, I really can't control my emotions. And finally, they lowered my dose of steroids, and it seemed like Sharona kind of disappeared a bit. What I learned, like, afterwards is that she was more like a suppression of all the emotion from before I got ill. And all of that was coming out in that personality of the anger, of the upset, because I wasn't expressing it. So I carried on with my treatment, and it was about 2 weeks for my 18th birthday. I went to sleep and I woke up, and my arm was dead. I kept trying to lift it, but it wouldn't move. I said to my mum, something's not right here. So I went to go to the bathroom, but I was walking like I was drunk all over the place. She was like, no, you need to get to the hospital. Go to the hospital, and within 3 to 4 hours, my whole body shut down. I was paralyzed. I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, I couldn't even swallow. And all the doctors was in a panic. They was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know whether it's the cancer that spread or the chemotherapy. I don't know what it is. And they were kind of treating me like, because my body had shut down, that my mind had shut down, but it hadn't. I was still fully aware of everything that was going on. It was really frustrating. It was like I was trapped in my body. So when they said they didn't know if I went to walk or talk again, I never gave up because I was going to be 18 and I was like, I need to push through this. And I kept on going. They stopped the chemo. I kept on going with my physiotherapy and I was able to kind of move a little bit. And then I remember 9 months later I had like a relapse where I got an infection and then my whole balance went and I had to build myself back up again. And then eventually I actually stopped the chemo because I found out it was affecting my mobility even more. So I went on to a more holistic journey. And the doctors were against it, but that's what I did. And within 6 months, I was cancer free. And that is and that was 9.5 years ago. And I think a lot of the lessons that I've learned about everything that I've gone through have kind of happened in the last few years, just through some of the people I am. One of my friends in the front row, she really helped me do some inner child healing work to go through and process these emotions from before I even got ill. It was a really important part of my journey. And one of the things I noticed is us as people, as I was trying to explain what I was going through, everyone just kind of had their opinion, but no one wanted to actually listen. And that's important, to just listen. You know, we all want to put in our 2 bits, but you've got to listen to people and really, because when you listen, you find out so much more than when you're talking. And I think that's one of the most important things that I learned. Also, I think visualization really helped me through my journey, and just kind of being able to see where I wanted to be rather than just keeping focused on where I was at that time. And that really pulled me through the journey. So yeah, that's my story. Thank you.
I think a lot of us can relate to the build-up of emotions that we have, and it only comes to fruition when we break. Yeah, but that I completely relate to that pain that goes on over years. I just want to ask you one question. I want to take a question or two from the audience very quickly as well. If you're open to asking questions, this is a good time. Doctors hold so much power over our lives because we defer to them. And what point did you decide to disconnect and take your chances? I'm sure they were probably dubious and thinking themselves that you were almost ending your life because you were ending your connection with them.
And for me, at that moment, they said, you won't walk or talk again. And I was like, no, that's not me. And there was something in me that was just like, you got to fight through this, because of if it was going to be my life, that meant I didn't have quality no more. I was going to be stuck like that. Then I kind of didn't want that. So I had to fight for what I did want. Because of the doctors, they're great, but they just can only help you from their level of perception. And only you truly know what's going on in your body.
Brilliant. Okay, 1 or 2, yeah, clap for that, man. Express yourself. And your experience is a learning for all of us, because we need that leap of faith to start believing that we are the solution. And the food is in that. Leon's course it does on the holistic health. Myself, Mr. Reed, and a few others know the power of it, so it's the one. Okay, I'm going to take 1 or 2 very quick questions. Throw your hand up high and proud if you're ready to ask a question. What did I tell you about the ancestors thing, yeah? You're supposed to walk with someone, supposed to boost and edify you. There must be one person in here that's going to ask a question. Just be a brave soul, thank you.
Please stand.
You hold the mic, and then you should have another mic.
Yeah, just project.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Could you tell us a little bit about the holistic journey that you went on?
Okay. So basically, as you know, holistic means looking at every aspect. So that's literally what I did. So I did change my diet, but when I was going through it, I wasn't yet, I hadn't yet stopped eating meat. I do not eat meat no more. I don't have a label for that, because if I do want a piece of meat every now and then, I want to still have it. Mindset, get rid of toxic people out of my life. There were some herbs that I took, because my grandmother, she lived in Jamaica, and I spent a lot of time there in my healing process as well. The energy, you know, the vitamin D, helping out melanin. Also, probably having that belief in self, environment, so spending more time in nature. Drinking the water was really important. So minimum of 2 liters a day. You always see me walking with water. What else is there? Sleep. That was important to me as well. The main things were kind of listening to my body and asking my body what it wanted. So everyone always thinks, is there one thing that you did? There wasn't one thing, because living lifestyle was about everything. You've got to take your life and evaluate every part of it, every different section, and then you've got to work on all of those sections.
Thank you so much. And yeah, follow her on social media. She has a book. And she's also, I'm sure, a guest speaker who deserves to be heard. Okay, we have more poetry for you. Hands up if you've been to a spoken word night in the last 3 months. Nate the lyricist, he's there every week. I would invite all of you to seek out the spoken word scene. It's where you will find some of the finest lyricists and the most important messages of our time. I feel the hip hop scene that I'm from, you know what I mean, there's a war going on, where they're using our power against us, creating content that affects us negatively. And the poetry scene is a sanctuary for me. And I found a brother in that space who's going to come onto this platform to share a piece created especially for you. I've seen him on the Flow Poetry Circuit and many other places. You will love what he has to share. Please put your hands together for my brother, AMD Speaks.
Afternoon.
What up, Voices King?
I want to share something with you. Just thinking how, when I was growing up, depression, mental health, like, I was told, that's white people thing, man, like, or this is not, you know what I'm saying? It's not something that we experience yet. When you just study our history alone, you can see, as a people, as a culture, there's been so much trauma attached. So I just want to start off with a piece to give some praise to the ancestors, and then I'm going to go into a main piece. Is that all right, yeah? Yeah. Gentle zephyrs caressed black pearls that had washed up on harbors dressed in scarlet. At auction, greed had come to dine upon their flesh. The subjugation of souls at places hate was made incarnate, where labels placed price tags for cotton pickers. The thievery of royalty now chronicled on parchment paper. Now property of those who bought and missold humanity, belonging to masters who had misnamed us for free labor. So know this, young queen, young king. You will face many challenges because of your skin. Call on the ancestors and be reminded of who you were, well before any of the ships set sailing, before the drowning and all of the wailing, before the noose, before you swung in the breeze and became strange fruit, before the time that you were cut from your root, my molality, before the time that you had forgotten that you were powerful. Thank you. Keeping in line with mental and emotional health, everything that we ingest and digest affects us. And when we're looking out into the world, when we look at the news, it seems to be this constant attack, a lot of negativity. And it's how this peace quarantine was born. We are not the talented who take our God-given gifts for granted. Exercising our pen is exorcising the spirit. We escape our lines of imprisonment. Those of us that think outside the box and freedom write us outside of the margins. There are messages encoded within my DNA, and I am from a lineage of lion kings. So listen. Veins splattered across the page are covenants. Ink stains that are left behind, forensic evidence of an indigenous. You see, my physical is a prism. It separates the light from a lie. So you and I can see all the colors of the entire spectrum. Tuning in, ascending to heavenly bandwidths, amplifying divine sounds the truth speaker is. Those earthly rulers have tried to measure our intelligence, but we are those dark quasars that won't ease into the dimensions they try to fit us in. Now, if you are ready to hear what today's message is, allow me to share with you my perspective on what the future is. In the future, they will attempt to quarantine love and call it a disease and convince you and me that hate is the sure cure for the cause of such epidemics. The roads then will scream melancholy, its thoughts cemented in the matter grey. It would have been witness to murder, police brutality, and human traffic, kings and queens. History, it serves as our precursor, and Those of us that don't know theirs, we are sure to repeat the curse of past behaviors in the future, and we will breed minds incubated in ignorance. People will fall to their knees to take stands. Cotton pickers and Kaepernicks will be hung in public before endorsements by the night ticks. Mike Browns will still be shot dead in the street screaming, "Don't shoot," whilst we raise our hands. Eric Garner still can't breathe. Trayvon Martins will still be shot down by a Zimmerman. We do not forget about our Tamir Rices, our Stephen Lawrences, our Mark Duggans. We'll be damned if we forget about our Sandra Blands. Then there will be fires at Grenfell, where our hearts fell. Where the inquest into the unlawful deaths will lead to dead ends until a justice system is systematically picked apart and becomes a system that is just by us. Until then, they will continue to serve us their death sentences, copiously fed to us in a steady diet of lies and unwavering bias. In the future, free thought will become a cemetery, where we will exist inside of the coffins their programming has channeled us in. And the world turns and turns and stomachs churn, sick. The mouths of the people will regurgitate hate agendas and spew malignant narratives with a menacing rhetoric. In the future, all poets will sound like this and would have misplaced their own expression. Like politicians, we would have convinced you that we said something significant, simply because our speech or spoken word piece lasted longer than the fame of 15 minutes. They will tell us the voice of the people is shown in referendums, all the while turning up the heat to disguise a cold war on the immigrants. Unpredictable Mayweather, trumped only by presidential punchlines that grab pussy inciting rape. On Twitter with his trigger fingers instigating war with North Korea. The UN still ignoring slavery and genocide across the world. Please, a moment of silence for Sudan. A moment of silence for Libya. They will make a myth of the gravity of climate change. Though earthquakes and hurricanes will exist in abundance, so many that we will all forget their names. We will live in a time unable to recognize nature from the engineered. Fortunately for us, we do not have to worry about such days arriving in our future, because they are already here. So eulogize about me while I'm still alive. Promise you'll sing about me before my flesh dies. Stay beyond moments of disdain and help wash away stains of mistakes. Tell me what I mean to you and all of the ways I inspire. Tell me of all the pinnacles for which you wish for me to aspire. Tell me of all the happiness that money can't buy us. When I tell you I would rather live through my depressions in a mansion, remind me home is where the heart is, and that in you is a friendship that never expires. Thank you.
That's just not food for thought, that's a banquet. Yeah, we need to do more of this, more connecting the art and the education and the people. This is our solution. So can I get at least just one question? Breeze, thank you for setting it off, my brother. I appreciate you. Incredible MC, you know what I mean? And educator as well, respect them. Yeah, go for it, please.
Hello, thank you so much for sharing that. It's really powerful. I study anthropology, which is the study of what it means to be human, and I'm currently writing an essay on race and racialization and how an understanding of whiteness helps us understand the position that we're now in. I loved what you said about environmental racism. I mean, you implied it in what you said, and how we don't have to worry about, you know, the pain in the future because we already experience it. I wondered if you could just touch on that a bit more, please.
So, I just want to say something, Charlotte, what you said previously, which talked about a manifestation, realizing after that was a manifestation of all the suppressed things that came before. It manifested itself later. Yeah? So when I was growing up, for instance, like I would like to think I was taught well. I attended a Saturday school. There's little things that I had the privilege of learning that there are a lot of people around me didn't have the privilege of learning at a young age. And growing up in London, London's a bit more diverse. You still remember who you are, but London's a bit more diverse. I went away to study in Coventry, right? And in my freshers week, I got stabbed in the head. Now, when I got stabbed in the head, the amount of the racial slurs, all the stuff that was being said to me, what's funny is I'm fighting, but all I can hear are these terms being thrown at me. And you would think someone trying to physically attack me would be the thing that angered me the most, but it wasn't. It was hearing these things. And when I look back now, after that, I went through a stage of depression. All the people around me didn't really know, because I was going out into the world and I was still me. In fact, I was an amplified version of me to cover up what was going on. And I would come home from nights out, lock myself in a room, turn the music up, and just stay there. And what eventually happens is, like what they say, what goes up must come down. Yeah, so while I'm having this rise, there was just eventually a crash came, and I had a breakdown. And growing up in the culture that where I was growing up, being told, men, we're the strength, and we're not supposed to go through these depressions. It's a sign of weakness and things like this. It didn't allow the space. So that's what I'm touching on when I talk about this.